Hey guys, it's Pastor Jay here, and I just want to take a little bit of time and talk to the church family about the coronavirus and what our plans are and what we need to do moving forward. First thing I want to share with you is this, that God has not given us a spirit of fear, but He's given us a spirit of love, He's given us a spirit of power, and He's given us a sound mind. And so we need to be careful that we are not fear-driven, but we need to be fact-driven and most of all, faith-driven. And so we don't need to panic. If you watch the news networks and you go online, they're panicking all over the place. But we need to be people of faith. We need to be people of fact. One way that we need to look at this problem and look at the COVID-19 is with the eyes of faith, but also with eyes of being careful. The Bible teaches that a wise man foresees evil and then hides themselves from that evil. Now, how are we going to do that? Well, number one, our leaders are telling us to implement something called social distancing. That means, number one, that we are going to, for a temporary time, limit our handshaking and our hugging and kissing on the cheek when we greet one another. At Grace, we're a very friendly church, but we're going to change that greeting to, "Hi, it's great to see you," a smile, interaction verbally. We're going to do that with each other just as a way to limit any possibility of passing the COVID-19 coronavirus on. Mindset number two is this, that we need to not be so worried about catching the coronavirus, but we need to be worried about passing it to those that are most vulnerable to the disease. Most people that are catching the coronavirus are exhibiting very slight symptoms because they're younger, they're healthier. Children are almost not immune to it, but they show very small symptoms to the coronavirus. But on the flip side, our elderly and those with severe underlying health issues, it is very, very dangerous. It's very deadly. And so our mindset needs to be, I'm not afraid of you from catching it, but I'm afraid to give it to you. That keypad at Publix is more dangerous than your brother at church. You need to understand that. But if you catch that from Publix, you need to be very cognizant and very careful that you don't pass that to an elderly person in our church. And so that's why we want to engage in social distancing. Of course, we're going to have our hand sanitizer, our bathrooms, we're going to keep our doors open so we don't have to grab those handles every time, and that's a vulnerable place, but we'll wash our hands. We have a pretty good stock of Purell here at the church, and different ways that we're going to keep our church clean. As for right now, it's March 12th, and that's what we're going to observe. In the future, if things really get locked down in other communities, we'll adjust with our ministries accordingly. But for as of right now, our plan moving forward is to kind of hold everything like normal, but with social distancing. I want to encourage you, don't be driven by fear, but have some wisdom. I would encourage you, especially if you're in a vulnerable position to the coronavirus, to self-isolate. If you have any symptoms, which is a cough, a fever that spikes, I would definitely say stay at home. Lock yourself down like a snowstorm. I'm from up north. We'd lock ourselves down and we'd kind of have a little cabin fever for a while. Go home and prepare to have maybe 2 weeks of food and supplies prepared, just so if there is kind of a way that you have to lock yourself down, that you'll be prepared. Absolutely. If it gets very bad, we're going to have our online option still open, and we will still be ministering that way. So just want to be an encouragement to you. Be a person of faith and show that faith, not recklessness, but go through it with a spirit of calmness, keep your head held up high. And why? Because you're showing that you have faith in God and you're wisely preparing. And while everybody else is panicking, you're going to stand out and shine like a light. Hey, listen, I love you dearly. I'm praying for the church family. I want us to keep moving forward. I know that this is temporary. In the Bible, it says this too shall pass. And I truly believe that. Throughout human history, and even in church history, there's been bad epidemics and that have come and gone. But it's always temporary. Difficult things can happen, but God always gets through it. So just want to encourage you and be a blessing to you. And Lord willing, we'll see you on Sunday. Have an awesome day.